first things first. It's mostly inspired by Mark Rendel's presentation. He is one of the professional developer, and he did a similar workshop for designing the most devious, most horrible, most worst ever programming language called PS. And I had this idea a long time, and thanks to the Yuri, I finally wrote my ideas down. So I hope you give me some ideas and suggestions to do this even worse. But the idea is to design together. I later review the video and gather ideas and write them down and extend the project. Most unfriendly, devious, unforgiving and cryptic Linux experience ever. Ever.
I think the installer has ECC and sources.
Why? You have a point, it's no point. There is already an Arch Linux, there is already exists a Just and there are many other distros that already exist and easily fall to this category. So why do that? Because we can. Because fuck you, that's why. And because it's fun. So the main design principles should be, it is hard, nearly impossible to install. It is even harder or even impossible to use. It's as cryptic, esoteric, messy, diabolical, unintuitive and unfriendly as possible. No clear action feedback, no user feedback ever, ever. No sensible error messages ever. No, no, no. And the other principle is, of course, that every mistake, every single mistake, even the slightest one, must result with complete data loss and reinstall. And the main goal is to create a distro that is hated by both end users, usual users, and pros altogether. And it should be unstable and unsecure, which is of course joke, because for this role we have Windows. So this the last point is what we don't try to achieve today. Okay. As I told you, I expect participation, even though I didn't bought a brandy. Comments, suggestions, improvements, any ideas? More devious, sadistic, destructive, obtrusive, or evil, the better. And
will you give us their site?
What?
Will you get us the site name?
What?
It's not there yet. You say, let's go to work.
I mean, brainstorming work.
I see.
Okay. So, and it focuses more on user, on experience, and on look and on feel and uncomfortability than the actual system's internals, but we have a slight piece of these two. Okay, any ideas? What should we name this distro? Anyone? Yeah?
Linux 6.0.
Fedora 2.
No, just Linux.
I personally thought about naming it a pro Linux to lure an unsuspecting pros using it. But Devil Linux Devil Linux already exists, but it's only just a desktop background with pentagram. It's stupidity. But devious Linux maybe. We can discuss this later over the
Linux
the
Pro,
because it's
Devilux.
Let's see what the name actually is.
okay.
aga ma arvan, see peaks olema installer.
So let's start with installer. So what type of installer would we prefer?
Automatic.
A graphic installer would be too easy, obviously. A cursive style installer is a little bit more disgusting, but still not there.
Cursive is like pretty good.
SSL ja porti interpretaator, kõik.
Yes, that's it.
UEFI
We can do it like BSD installer, which is text only dialog, but I have an idea. First, maybe non-installer. No installer, there was no Unix install programs on the good old days. You just boot it up from the paper tape, you compile new kernel, you hard compile every configuration item also, and your bootloader, or you flipped your bootloader in flip switches, and then with memdump you wrote it on the storage at the beginning and then just flipped in the address where to boot. It is of course hard, it is of course error-prone process, but there is a problem. The problem is that some old gray-haired, gray-bearded guys actually may like it, because good old days, you know. I have a more unintuitive approach. A graphical installer that is actually not a graphical installer. It just emulates it. It looks graphical, but it's actually not. Of course, we use 320 to 200 CGA for colors, you know, cyan, magenta. So, and it displays just text boxes, something similar you suggested. A text box is like fdisk, and here go the parameters. And of course there is no going back or forth. What is done, it's done. If it fails, you start over. And here is a small, nice example. The font is intentionally unreadable, but here you have to write a time zone. Of course, you have to write the correct long name of the time zone, otherwise it fails and you start over. And here is a partition hard disk, which actually is fdisk that expect you putting in all those letters like new partition, number 1, and so on, separated with spaces. And then some other shell utility, but this one expects you to separate his command line parameters with commas. Just.
I have a remark.
Yep.
The time zone is so basic. Please Google or search for the POSIX time string.
Exactly.
Thank you.
see should just find that reboots the installer if about 5 minutes are done.
Yes. Okay. So, system scripting language.
Klingon.
It was Perl.
Intercol.
Intercal is a good candidate. This position was held by Perl many years. Unfortunately, they go to the Python nowadays. But here we have yet another idea. Mark Rembles BS. because he already gathered, cobbled together all the worst unfeatures of all programming languages known to man. It hates programmers. It's absolutely booby-trapped. I have on the references, I have the links if someone hasn't shown his presentation, or and also a link to BS's GitHub page. Have fun. It's specifically designed to our purpose to be cryptic, error-prone, hard to use, and it is it's specifically designed so that it's very easy to make mistakes. So it actually compiles, but it never does what you want it to do.
Sounds like C.
And additionally, we add Lisp to lure in a computer science persons. Shell editor. Y is already pretty good candidate because we all know how to exit B is like 6 million queries. But we can, yes, actually Teco, because it's even worse than Y. It's backported to Linux. It is actually powerful, unforgiving, and dangerous. A slight typo and it destroys your file, and if you're lucky, some other files too. So it fits perfectly here. Okay, shells. Over the years, there have been many shells that are quite unfriendly, quite cryptic, and they all have their own quirks like CSH, ZSH, good old SH. But yes, there is a one particularly weird shell. It's RC from Plan 9. It is backported to Linux, and it's totally crippled because Plan 9, as originally research operating system, was a cluster operating system where all the resources were shared over many computers. And the shell is specifically designed to use those resources. And then they ported it back and shrinked it to a single computer. So it's mostly the most pointless port I've seen.
I'm wondering if anyone has ported those BAT files to Linux.
And I don't know, but it may be possible.
You have to port it, and then it's, everything else is
It's not everything the same.
And
midagi config sisse asendab.
I don't know. Okay, another one is new shell. You can talk JSON with it. I discovered that when I created this presentation, I haven't personally tried this abomination, but this gave me an idea, and this one actually corresponds with Maddie's idea. So great minds think alike. Unfortunately, I am not a great mind, but still. So let's be modern. We just add API to the kernel and to the systemd, and then we have a curl shell, and we can write JSON directly to the kernel. We have curl prompt, and of course, being sadistic as we are, every single command you give must be prefixed with full curl command line, like post, HTTPS localhost, content type. You have to type them every fucking single time.
So what's the shell when you type it?
What?
And where do you get the token?
Isn't it like a chicken and egg problem that you need a shell to type this curl command in?
No, actually not. Or we can do
Run a
like
command to request a token every time before a command.
Yes, I think that token itself is yet another can of worms. If we go to the security area, I didn't do that, but
Secure email
yes,
from the user.
yes. Okay. I don't cover much of the system because it's quite a complicated area, and but I have some ideas what we can do. Maybe we pack everything on monolithic unikernel. Every configuration change means full recompile and full reinstall. Or maybe we can use excessive containerization, so every single app is separate Docker container. Maybe.
Have all apps run on Electron.
But I'm pretty sure that type 2 hypervisor is mandatory just to slow things down. Well, if we use hypervisor, it opens up widely a next gate to the total hell, next deeper level. Let's have some fun with file systems. We stack at least 3 copy and write file system on top of each other, and I can guarantee you, because I've tested it, I am actually crazy enough to test it. It really slows down even a new system, something like 5 megabytes per second. And using an old SSD, my record was actually 500 kilobytes per second, like good old MFM days. Yes, it contradicts with that manual F-disk partitioning. Like somewhat it contradicts, and somehow it does not contradict, because just luring in a beginner users, we can put a friendly automatic partitioning button on the installer, and then we can stack on hypervisor level storage like ZFS. Then on hypervisor level we add abstraction layer that reveals that storage as files, a part of the file system as directory. Then we do a qcow file inside that directory, which is second cow, and the third cow will be inside a virtual machine that actually acts as a user environment.
And of course, the underlying file system will be unified file system, UFS, for CD-ROMs.
Maybe, but it's not cow, I'm afraid.
But it's little.
Yes, actually, there is even one more slower. Now I remember. NBD, Network Block Device Abstraction Layer.
Yeah.
It totally crawls. Then we don't need 3 cows on top of each other, but it's less messy. It's less messy. We want this to be as complicated and unmaintainable as possible, because as we all know, storage is already very complicated topics. I've seen this when I teach in university. My students were all those when we talked about partitions and file systems and RAIDs. So it's a nice place. Of course, I am still really absolutely totally open for ideas and suggestions.
But I think this is the first place when user wants to fix right away and needs to create a patch.
you can take local NFS and look back file in the local NFS shape and mount file system on that loopback.
Yes. One more additional, yes. As we see, it's an endless depth of hell we can create here. Now, GUI. This is of course list GUI. This screenshot is from a modern one. We don't go with this fancy menu here. So when you start an X window, it just opens one list prompt window. And here you can type your list code to generate new windows, switch windows, and do other things like that. This one is more than one, but of course those absolutely unusual shit like menus and mouse support can be removed, and then it's like back in 75 as it should be. So of course general buzzwords. How else? Every Linux has highly customizable UI. Of course it's customizable, right? Lisp. Fuck your customizations. We overwrite everything you change on every update, of course. Why not? So, powerful features, very usual. Every distro has powerful features, and we hide them as deep as possible under menus or under cryptic commands or under undocumented API, so they are basically unavailable. And okay, rich set of software, we all know where this goes. No one really understands, even I don't understand, the mess with the package manager, the mess with the package names. It's already so messy that no effort should be put there. We can use a off-the-shelf products. So, now what? It has been me ranting even more than 20 minutes. Ooh, overrun. I forget this one. Yes, this is a good point, overrun also. Okay.
I have made my suggestion. Black Eclipse.
Cool, really cool. But okay, I actually ranted 34 minutes. Now, where's the point? The point is that it sounds like madness, but actually it's our daily life. Was it ultimate bullshit? Should anyone in the right mind do something like that? Wrong. OSS developers, especially the ones that dealing with user experience, user UI, they doing it daily. Almost all this crap. Okay, I over-exaggerated. I over-exaggerated a lot, or actually a little. This crap lives in different distros. It's there. It's right under our nose, but we just have user experience blindness trained within us. We don't see those mistakes because we are already trained to unsee them or overlook them.
I have comments.
Yeah.
First, the time is passing and the standards change. There are billion user companies which have time to polish their software. And then in Estonia people say, oh, give me the software which is the same quality like Google does, which is very principally impossible because billion is not 100,000. Then there is a clear water line between people who have burned before 2000 and after that. The ones who appeared after that, they demand too much. And then there is one more problem. To test any distro or specific installation from the user standpoint, you should start from zero. Developers, professional developers, have full set of programs installed, so they don't see those irregularities there. And the very last one is that the complexity of certain things which touch booting, and don't forget that the very booting procedure has heavily changed at least 2 or 3 times within the time we use Linux. That means that someone should analyze all the things, be able to program this on an absolute dumb user level. It's impossible.
I think that most end users have the idea that installing means first going to App Store.
Okay, I kind of agree with you, but first let me finish, and then we can discuss it a little bit in depth, because I'm here to chew bubblegum and give you some kick-ass examples, and I'm all out of gum. What? Actually, what?
Is it that Devilux?
Nope, this is my desktop. What happened? Anto, what happened? What happened? Unfortunately, I don't have video, but I tried to start an application, and it showed me that little tinkering thingy, 2 seconds, and then it's gone. It didn't start. It didn't give up any error message at all.
But from where is that idea that it should give?
Yes, user feedback is A and O. It's
The feedback
teach
which...
on every design course. You should give at least some feedback. Now, what I have to do actually? Okay, you start S-Trace, you are professional.
Yes.
Well, the other way around is just you find out what is the actual name of that binary, then you start it from console, then you look messages, and nowadays fortunately some programs actually write their stuff in the talk with journal control. And this particular Linux I use actually is able, but not from the start, but maybe half a year ago there was an update. It's 2025, and now it can give me journal control messages when some program fails. Complete lack of feedback is not okay. It's main design principle, and Linux totally fails, at least Linux guy GUIs. And well, if you start something from GUI and it fails, no feedback. If you start some programs, not all, but some command line programs do absolutely opposite. Complete silence, error level 0 means everything went okay. Is it one way or another? Make your mind. Make up your mind.
That's faced successfully.
But I still disagree with this, that there should be feedback. Please compare 2 cases. First, your installer giving no feedback. And then, I remember when it was 1994, when I tried to install Windows 3.1 over the DOS.
It was a mistake.
Yes,
as we all know.
it was written into the Microsoft code that do fail because of our commercial interest. So I had to choose which way. I was unable to choose that way. I hate Microsoft from that year. And this UX problem is not a problem for me. Which year this design theory appeared?
There is also counterpoint that some, let's say maybe not so smart users, see feedback on the screen and they think it's an error message.
If it says it's an error message.
But they might say even the message,
indicate that it's an error.
but they might even see a non-error message as an error message.
Okay. Well, meaningful error messages. These two, this was pretty lately. One says that actually error loading component is not installed. The other one was just got an error. And actually this means that my run user tempfs was running low because default was 10% of memory, and somehow 1.6 gig is not enough. But the error message is in general in Linux the error messages does not usually indicate what is the problem, and debugging is science by itself.
Yes.
And we all know that.
And Java is the opposite way.
Yeah. So fuck you. Figure it out, bitch. That's what it means.
Yes.
The problem with error messages is that who is it targeted to for the
Okay.
average user? It's like
And
it doesn't matter if
simple
you write it or not.
mitigation. Simple mitigation. Even Windows can say we are running low on space on drive C. Just warn me, you are running low on your tempfs. For God's sake, how hard can it be?
Windows errors are in some ways much worse. You have error code 0x83000008.
Yes.
Enjoy.
It's just one
And it has
example.
7 different meanings.
Usually, yes, there is no sensible connection between error message and what is actually wrong. And sometimes, sometimes it's not possible.
For 90% of the users, it doesn't matter if there is an error message, what's written on there, if there is not. It's like 2 hours ago we lost power, and when you flip the switch and see that the light doesn't turn on, you don't need an error message that this breaker dropped or whatever. For the user it's enough, and then some power user gets called in.
Okay.
I really think that UX has its applicability limits. It's the same thing with internet users. Various scams and taking money away and so on. And the problem is that the quality of people at the internet is much lower compared to what it was 20 years ago.
I agree with that, but
And
yes,
you have to improve the quality of UX endlessly. It takes billions of dollars.
I agree that too, but some things I pointed out and some things I will point out are actually pretty simple, obvious. No $1 billion.
Some of them are, agree.
Okay, basically yes, the error messages continue in Linux, a long tradition of not the typewriter and LP0 on fire. Who remembers those from standard Unix?
Segmentation fault, call dump.
Okay. Yet another one, this one occurs in latest Linux Mint 22. When you try to configure VPN, nice dialogue. It should be there something. What there happened is that Mint, which is based on Ubuntu, tries to drop out a network manager and go full net plan. But as some sort of transition, they have both. And then they have a wrapper. So you configure your stuff in network manager. And then there will be a translator that generates a JML for a net plan and says net plan applied. But because there were no translation recipes when they released for all things like very unimportant and not so obvious things like OpenVPN or OpenSSL, they don't throw you an error message. They just give you that blank gray box. Figure it out, bitch.
Great choice. See, could have all that system the network they also put some mix.
So basically what they say is, okay, we haven't done that yet, but we don't say it to you. Fuck you, figure it out by yourself. Yet another picture that is better than it was. Yes, I know it's horrible, it's Fedora installer. And you don't want to see it, but okay, Ante, you were so critical. What's wrong on this picture? There is a 3 main design flaws wrong on this picture. Can you tell them?
You mean the exclamation marks are hints or what?
Bingo.
It's just confusion.
Yes, but it's fundamentally flawed design.
See, you should have an agreement. UX is not a universal value. We use red color here. Who the heck said that red color should be used for anything else than error messages? Is it an error message? It isn't. So it's just somebody's idea. It's not the truth.
Yes, but we have some common agreements, we have some common sense.
I don't know who has.
And the common sense usually says that exclamation mark, it's a warning, it's like a traffic sign, but it's actually, it's danger ahead. No, it's not. It tries to tell you, that you have something that you need to do, but, well, it uses common, okay, reverse, but still pretty common warning sign. First problem. Second problem, all those step-by-step activities are cobbled together in one screen. It's an information overload. Third problem, this one is added later. I've seen a few years ago, Fedoras, they had a similar installer. There was no exclamation marks. There was no very small, it's actually unreadable on the laptop screen sign that says you need to do these certain activities to go on, because otherwise here I saw actually where the usual user started and ended his first Linux experience here, because he couldn't understand why this button is disabled. Yes, now they added that little small, very small 6-point sign that you need to do certain activities to go on.
Again,
this is not a programming problem. This is a generally flawed approach, because it's not complicated to do it step by step and make it more clear. Do not use exclamation mark as warning sign. You need to do something. This is fundamentally flawed from the design point of view, user experience point.
Again, the very understanding that there exists one universal truth, this understanding is extremely wrong. I want that my Linux will follow the graphical conventions of 19th. Understand?
Yes.
And I don't like those new things. I really hate Unity. I don't use Unity, only when forced at the school. And so on and so on. I absolutely hate when in my application, no difference in Android or Linux, the GUI is changed over every 3 months. I see that younger people are not able to work in those GUIs where I work automatically and very fast, and vice versa. I will be mistaken in those new GUIs because I really don't know what those apes want from me. So there is no one truth.
Yes, but there is a truth that can cover most of the ordinary users. You are a professional user.
Thank you for the compliment.
Okay, another small thing, we usually overlook it. I showed it to my wife and she didn't understand what's wrong on this picture. But actually there is a user interface inconsistencies, 3 sets of widgets, 2 different menus. What? Of course I know, Anto, this is a somewhat constructed example, but we can see that.
That's a
We
modern
can-
Apple way.
Mida?
That's a modern Apple design, and the Windows also. Suppose follow the design principle to together all different kinds of widgets.
Yep, but we should be, if I choose a theme, then the theme should be consistent all over my environment. And we are actually very close to end. So because if I continue, we will be there forever. Example, Fedora Linux derivative Novara, it has 3 different GUI frontends to the 2 different update managers. None of them works correctly.
Just use a command line.
There is a new trend that it appeared and it fortunately went away, that by default we are hiding those main menu. It's hidden because maybe it confuses someone. I don't know who, but who the hell thinks about
Well,
it?
actually, the best example is a GTK file open dialog. I always need to read one how to use it because they are hiding the path and how I can get the path.
File control.
Yes, that's
It's not intuitive, I mean.
It is.
one new extremely nice.
Compare your first
One extremely nasty trend is blind boot, no boot log. Sometimes when the frame buffer fails, somehow there is also not even log on, nothing. You turn your computer on and you stare at the blank screen depending how fast computer you are. And you don't know, is it crashed or is it booting or what the hell he's doing.
But why do you care? I mean, you start a computer, you have, now it's feature, why do you want to know all that thing?
But basically,
Ordinary user does not want to know it.
you should get the idea. The idea is that there are small, simple things, not expensive, but fundamentally flawed from the point of end-user usability. There is no point to create a Devil Linux because it's there. If we take just worst parts of Fedora, worst part of Debian, worst parts of Arch, we are there. We are already there. And then worst so-called features from GNOME and KDE and Cinnamon, we are here already. It exists among us. We have just some sort of blindness. We are trained not to see the problem.
Maybe we should start using Emacs as the whole.
And if it make you think somehow, maybe there is something wrong, maybe something can be done better, and maybe next time you wrote your own program, you at least a little bit think about the usability or who might use this stuff. Then this presentation has served its purpose, because the billion so-called small, unimportant things that are nagging and million pieces of shit make one huge steaming pile of shit. And if you fix those small things, maybe there will be a Linux desktop here somewhere very far in the future. Thank you.
One question.
Ja ma pühendan need tagasihoidlikud slaidid väsimatule vabavara propageerijale ja mulle lauasse.
Võib öelda, et lõppasutaja saab lühikese asutamise täitsa hakkama, kui keegi